So, thank you, Jennifer, for being here with me today. I'm really, really happy that we can talk together because I'm really just dying to tell somebody about this new channeling group that I'm going to be doing. So, I thought we could start with bringing Sarah in. Shall we do that?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so let's just close our eyes and come into Sarah's sacred circle. And this is really easy to do. You just imagine Sarah has a host of angels, and I see them as like this beautiful whiter than white. And just imagine this host of angels are in a circle, like all the way around us, and they're radiating their divine white light through us into the center of the circle. And that energy is lifting and clearing. And just to bring in even more of that transforming energy, we call in Sarah's lilac violet flame. And all these lovely little sparkles of lilac violet flame coming in and filling that circle. And we're all in this circle, us now and all the people listening in the days and weeks and months ahead, all receiving this beautiful energy. And then finally, we call in Sarah's energy right into the center of the circle. And she comes in, I see her as a pillar of green light. It's like the energy of nature, the life force. And she comes in and she grounds us right down into the new earth. And at the same time, she expands us up into the highest heavens, the highest dimensions, and the cosmos. And so we're opening up and connected above, and we're rooting down and grounded below. And we're held in between heaven and earth. And all of these energies, the angelic energy, the violet flame, this green of the life force, they all belong to Sarah. They're all her kind of archetypal energy. And when they come together, they're like her oneness flame of unity. Ah, just let that oneness flame, feeling and energy of Sarah's presence, just fill your whole body for a few moments. Bring us into a space where we can have this nice conversation together. Oh, that's better.
That was
Oh,
lovely.
thank you. I love calling in her energy, and I'm always, every time I'm always like, wow, that's
That's
so
beautiful.
great.
I love that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, yeah. It's so grounding as well, isn't it? It's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Expanding
I
up.
just, yeah. And as you were doing the circle, before you even said like the green pillar of light, I was seeing like a green spiral coming out in the middle as well. And I was like, oh, I love that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Love spirals so much. That's really
Yeah.
lovely. So yeah, so this was one of the reasons why I wanted to run a channeling class. I've never done it before. I've taught people on like individual like basis as it's come up when I'm working with them, doing sessions and stuff. But I've never done like a circle for like people to learn channeling. And I really felt, I don't know, I'm not sure when it started. I think it was a few months ago, but it just felt like now's the time to do
Yeah.
it. I mean, one of the things that comes up over and over again with Sarah and also with the Blue Rose lineage that I work with is just how much we've been like taken out of our natural selves, so much of the over culture and, like some of the things we were talking about before we, started recording, all of the problems and the ideas and the beliefs that people have kind of out there are really,
Yeah,
really damaging to
it
us
is.
being able to channel. And a lot of the time, the people that I meet who want to be able to do this kind of thing but find it really, really difficult, it's not so much that they don't have the ability, it's all the stuff that's in the way.
Yeah,
It's all the damage that's been done.
yeah, it
And
is.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah. And I know for myself that was really like how it was. And I've worked for 20 years now on all these,
Oh,
yeah, on all these different things. And it's a lot. It's a big journey. And I think a lot of people are coming to a point now where they're ready to really start opening up to their own inner wisdom, their own inner light, and like connect to spirit, basically.
yeah, I think people are just trying to push away the judgment and self-judgment, judgment of others, and just step out their comfort zone a bit because there's a calling, isn't there? I think in certain people, and it's just no, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And yeah, I mean, I had that. I had that. I mean, it started, the first thing I learned was healing. And that was because my mum passed in 1996 and she gave me a book before
Mm.
she died about healing. She'd started seeing a healer and she found it just like it just helped her so much in those last couple of years of her life. And she said, "Oh, that healer I'm seeing, he said you're a healer." And I'm like,
Oh,
"No, I'm not."
when you're younger, no, yes.
I was finishing my training as a mental health nurse at the time, and I was
Oh
like,
wow.
don't know what they're on about. But after she passed, I could keep hearing her nagging me. It's like she was sitting on my shoulder going, "Learn to heal, Rachel. Learn to heal." And in the end, I got a book and I could just do it. I mean, it was just like it was and then I had to go away and actually learn how to do it properly so that I could protect myself and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
But after I'd done that, then I got another voice going, "Learn to channel, Rachel, learn to channel." And
mental
but I really was like, I really didn't see myself like that, like the urge to do it sort of came from outside of me almost to start off with as a suggestion. And then I kept thinking about it and I was thinking, oh yeah, it would be really nice to do that. But it really totally was not how I saw myself. Absolutely not.
Oh
And
wow.
I think a lot of us, we're sort of like, we put people on a pedestal maybe a little bit who can do these things. But actually, it's something that belongs to all of us. This is part of our human natural nature. And it's our culture that has split it off and made it
It is,
something,
yeah.
it's a bit like doing that with a musical ability or something, like making it something
No,
that was bad and evil or amazing and wonderful. It's like it's just another part of human nature. I mean, I don't know what
it's
you think
another
about
aspect
that.
of us, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's another aspect of us that we need to tap into, and because all of our answers are held within, and we don't listen to our gut so much. And that's one thing that I've found when I do that's because I've been doing massage therapy for 20 years, and then four
Mhm.
years ago I was like read that Lorna Bryan Angels in My Hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I could bring the angels into the treatment room. And then it just opened up a whole world for me, and this magical world, and hence why I'm talking to you now, if it wasn't for that book. So I learned a lot from that, and and I learned a lot about myself and going in. And it's when you don't listen to that gut feeling and you suppress that, and then when I work with the angels, they show me what chakras are blocked. I see colors and I find out what chakras blocked for that person. And that was my very start, was the chakras. And I didn't even know what a chakra was. I was like, what is that? And then I started looking up. So what's the orange one? Oh, that's sacral. That's the reason why that's blocked is because this. Oh yeah, I suffer with a lot of kidney problems. I'm like, oh, okay, so
Mm.
it's very clever what we know inside. It's just we need to trust our gut more and trust
Yeah,
ourselves as
yeah,
people.
absolutely. And so, it's finding those ways of like how we do that because I can remember like, when I was younger reading books about psychics and mediums, and it just seemed like they could just do this stuff. Like they could just speak to
Yeah,
spirit and, you know, it was like if you were that sort of person, it would just immediately happen to you and you wouldn't have to do anything to bring it through. And in my
yeah.
experience, that's not really that's
Not
not
the
really
case,
how it is
no.
because our fear and our doubt, also our past life trauma, our
Yeah,
ancestral trauma and beliefs, all these things can actually
of
completely
course.
shut those channels and all the little clues that we've perhaps had about our own abilities, we dismiss them anyway, you know?
Yeah,
So we can
suppress them.
like really not see ourselves in that way, but at the same time, like have quite quite a longing for it. And I think anybody who has a bit of an urge, whether you know they can already do certain things or they completely can't do anything, it doesn't sort of matter where you are on the ability scale. If you've got a
No,
bit of an urge to like do this stuff, then you should be doing it basically because that's your
yeah.
soul like
Well,
calling
keep
you.
niggling in your ear.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And ideas, you'll get ideas and yeah, something that's a good idea, but where's that idea come from? Like, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's
so
good.
I mean, and so this is where Sarah comes in. So, some people might want to channel Sarah, they might want to channel their higher self or their guides and angels. It really doesn't matter who they want to connect with. But Sarah is really, really useful in this process because she's really, really good at like dissolving this stuff. She's such an amazing healer, such an
Yeah,
amazing healer, and she has a lot of wisdom as well. Um, that whole thing you were saying earlier about like simplicity, very
yeah.
divine feminine, it
Oh,
doesn't have to
really?
be
Oh,
complicated. Things are very, very simple with her. And so, I teach people like how to work with their shadow because yeah, I mean, again, for me, it is often the psychological things that get in the way. It's really important to like get yourself in the right mindset when you're working and learning tools to sort of like be able to like what's happening with me right now? How am I feeling? What can I do about this? There's some really, really simple tools that I teach that Sarah's taught me over the years to sort of get people to like a good place. And then,
um,
she's also got that. So that, I mean, I would say that's sort of a very divine feminine side. And then there's that dynamic divine masculine energy that comes in. And she's a really, really powerful activator as well. So she activates people's abilities. She activates their light body. She activates their chakras. So she is like,
oh, wow.
yeah, for me, like, such a great person to work with if you really want to, try doing this stuff, really.
I think she's after everything that I've experienced with Sarah and thinking like, since 4 years ago when I first done Who's My Guardian Angel meditation and I wrote down Sarah and then I was hearing Jesus and Mary's daughter. I was like, Jesus and now, and I just totally dismissed it. And then it wasn't until I'd done that Buddhist retreat that I went to, and it was like I wanted to get to know my guides more and find out who they are. And it was when I sat in a meditation, and I asked, how do I get to know my guides more? And it was just basically know thyself.
Mm,
And I was like, so how do I know thyself? And it's just get in touch with the elements of the earth. So know that we're all part of this wonderful earth and creation. And I was like, well, who's telling me this? And I was just questioning it. And yeah, and she said Sarah, Jesus of Mary Magdalene's daughter. And I was like, okay, maybe I should research this. And then so I found you. So I just find that just so how simple it was and how
mm.
beautiful that was in that meditation. So
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
definitely something that I need to work on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. These things are so useful, and like we've been saying, it doesn't need to be complicated. And just like I find it so useful in my day-to-day life that I can just tap in to something else,
Yeah,
and then you get another perspective completely. I mean, I do find like with the everyday stuff, it's really, really nice. I mean, when I'm channeling for other people, that does take it up to another level. Like it comes
wow,
through even more, I would say. And I do think like working in groups together is really, really nice. And often we don't get the opportunity to do that
no,
because we're a bit dispersed. Even that, I mean, like when I started sort
really.
of working with all this stuff, sort of back in, I don't know, God, I don't know, like so long ago, it's so long ago now, like 20, 30 years ago, it was really hard to find anything. It was really special if you found anything.
I
And
can
now
imagine. Yeah,
it's become a huge industry,
yeah.
which sort of has its pros and cons, basically. But it's still, you still don't generally find people living next door that are thinking the same way
No,
you do,
thinking
or
the same
down the
way.
street,
No,
But I mean, I generally find people in the same town now.
yeah,
But it's
which is
still,
lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it's still really great that we've got the internet and that we can connect up this way. And, it is really nice to like learn these things in groups, and you get so much support from each other and people witnessing you, and it creates such a nice community vibe. And Sarah really brings that in again because she has that oneness energy,
Oh,
which is really great for groups. It really, really creates a
she
lovely,
connects all the like-minded souls.
yeah, yeah,
Love
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, she really does. Oh, yeah. So I'm starting this in March, and we're doing 8 classes. Um, and I will teach specific techniques of like how to do things. We'll have a little play with light language as well, because that's another thing that's really fun to try. And over the years I've learnt different ways of doing different things, and I usually give like, not just one way of doing things, but different ways because we're all different, we all need.
I love that you've mentioned light language because the light language has come up for me recently in
Mm,
certain things when I've done a meditation. So it was they I was in a group once again because it is groups that I find it strongest in when I'm
mm,
meditating in a group as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And we were connecting to our root load on roots, and then they said to grow out the top of your head, roots coming out the top of your head. And I was like, I've never done that version. And then the roots come out to the top of my head, and they were saying they were connecting me to the stars on the Orion's belt and the stars, 7 stars or seven something stars next to it.
yeah.
And then I was like, well, what's that all about? And then I looked up the stars, and it's something to do with the Syrian star seeds and the Pleiadian star seeds. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. My friend, who I mentioned does sound baths, she was going, I'm going to be doing some light language channeling. I was like, oh, I'm going to look that up. And now you've mentioned light language. So, yeah, I'm
Mm,
finding that really interesting at the minute.
yeah, it's really freeing because you're literally just bringing that energy through. You can disengage that mental part of your energy layer, and it just flows through like on the
Oh, wow.
sounds that you're making. And like you can shift the whole energy of something that's going on by bringing through a bit of light language. And you know, we don't do enough of these things. I don't do enough of these
Mm.
things, to be honest. We've not been brought up to think
No,
of
we
all
haven't.
this. No. I was teaching the last Blue Rose Lineage class last night, and we were talking about this. And I was saying, like, you just think now, like, our culture, we're just at the beginning of like remembering how to do all this stuff again. There's
Mm.
like little baby steps. Imagine what it will be
Yeah.
like 1,000 years up the road when we've got like
When we've
really, really, but right now we're just discovering.
baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. We're
Yeah.
just discovering it. But
It is
people,
really totally just discovering it, isn't it?
but it is exciting though, isn't it? I mean,
It's lovely.
there's a lot of wonder in that, but yeah, it is balanced by there's a lot of trauma in that as well,
Mm. Yeah,
because
there's a lot.
the way that our overculture kind of like looks at all of
So
it.
the Blue Rose lineage, is that because I've had meditations where it's shown me like I'm like a blue light being, or like when my soul was first evolved. So I'm going a bit um and is that sort of the same as like the first, is that sort of the first soul beings, would you say, the Blue Rose lineage, or
I
is
mean,
that where it stems
it's
from?
all kind of very mystical, and
It is,
people
isn't it? Yeah.
teach it in different ways. The way it's come through to me is something along the lines of the blue rose energy, existed right at the beginning of
Right,
when
okay.
things were created, and that it has become a lineage. And the lineage is so all these people who have worked with that vibration across like time and space, and the Blue Rose lineage like get called in when humanity's kind of forgotten its way.
Right. Ah,
And they're very
cool.
cosmic.
So that ties in with all my meditations that I've had over the years then, really, when I look at it.
But
It's very clever.
Sarah is the keeper of the Blue Rose flame
Right.
because she's
Okay.
the next generation of the Magdalene lineage.
Wow.
She's
Okay.
kind of our future. She's where we're
Yeah.
going. And so there's all this support and people that have gone before her. Yeah, but the Blue Rose, that's why it's a Blue Rose. It is, there are a lot of people there that are in the Magdalene lineage, but it's men and women in the Blue Rose, and they're
In the
very,
blue rose, yeah.
very instrumental in like that sort of transfer between cosmos and earth and cosmos, like
Right.
grounding and
Okay.
like aligning that sort of energy so that we become like our sovereign beings. Yeah, it's beautiful. It
Mm,
is
it's very,
beautiful to work with. And that's it. Last night, people were saying how, because there's a lot of Americans um, that are in the group, and they were saying like how wonderful it's been to have that Blue Rose lineage energy because you become part of that circle
yeah.
in the midst of everything that they're going through. And it's like, the worse things get out there, the more these spiritual things are our lifelines. And
Yeah, they are.
I think that's what really motivated me to like get it together. Like, okay, I've got to get it together now and teach this channeling stuff because I've been meaning to do it for years, but it's just never been the right time because it's really
It's
needed
amazing.
now.
Yeah.
We really, really need it now.
Yeah.
There's so much going on out there that's just noise and it's
Yeah,
really
100%.
confusing and you don't really know what's going on. And the only way to really get to the truth of it is to get your inner connection going as much as you can. And that is what this is really all about. It's really getting
Yeah.
that inner alignment to sort of be able to, yeah, keep yourself straight and true in the world that we're living in now.
Yeah, it's keeping yourself, there's too many distractions and there's so much, and it's just keeping yourself grounded and going within, and yeah, just finding the answers out, and instead of listening to all the noise around you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sort of like say we've all got to save the world or rescue the world or anything,
No,
but
no,
I
just save
truly
yourself.
believe that the more
Yeah,
of us doing this, we are the ones that
on
will
themselves. Yeah.
that will bring that will save the world in the end, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And that's it, isn't it? That's the key, isn't it? To help yourself, you can help others, can't you? And it's to
Mm,
get that, know where you're going, know what path you're going, and feel confident.
yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I mean, it's true, isn't it? Like when the chips are down, you have to really look for the things that nourish you and feed you and
Yeah,
keep you
yeah,
going. And the energies that come
yeah.
through when you are able to sort of tap into your own guides and angels and things like that, it's just, oh, it's just wonderful. It's really wonderful.
It is amazing, and that's what I try and share is when you start using the angels and bringing them in and asking them, because obviously you have to ask, and asking them to help you in certain situations, and the big things you worry about and stress and that you're anxious over, it's like let go of the anxiety, stop holding it on, give your worries over, and then I find the problem wasn't even that much of a problem, and like,
Yeah,
why was I so panicking about that, and it's just try and live in the present and not worry so much about the future, and fear, and try and let go of that fear and giving some of that over.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it is really magical.
It's freeing. It is
Is really
freeing.
magical. So, yeah, I mean, it's a small group. It's a small group that I'll be running. Won't be millions of people in it because each class I want to be able to work with people individually to help them because we've all got specific things
Yeah,
that we need a particular focus on and a particular healing with or information about. And if people can't make it live to the class, they can write in because I know with time zones and everything, it can be difficult to get to things, but they can write in and say what their thing is, and then I can like bring through healing or information or whatever it is that they need. So I'll be able to like individually
be
coach people
perfect. Mm.
like one way or
Yeah,
another, as well as like be giving them the sort of the techniques, I suppose, you'd call it, that they can use and practice and everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
that sounds amazing. I love that.
I've got a few more, and I've got a few more things up my sleeve as well that are coming. But I wanted to start with this one first. It felt like this was like the one
Yeah,
that needed to sort of happen now, basically. So yeah, yeah.
well done.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming along today and having a chat with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, it's been lovely. It's been nice to talk to you in person.
Lots of blessings, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Thank you. Bye.